WagerTalk, everybody. I'm Mr. Cool, Lawrence Presman. Teddy covers my co-host. And we got a show. We got a beaut of a show lined up. Scott Rickenbach, the man with the name that almost rhymes. He's going to talk the Phillies today, and he's going to do a deep dive into the New York Rangers-Carolina Panthers game. It's game 2. Bryan Power joining us. He's going to look at the Cavaliers game and take apart the Tampa Bay Rays game as well, Teddy. We got Dave Sharapan at the end of the show. What's your big game breakdown?
Dave Sharapan sent us a clip that he wants to put on today, which I'm excited to see. Oh, what that is. I'm not sure what the clip is, so it should be a lot of fun. My big game breakdown. We're going to talk Yankees and Astros, national TV on TBS tonight. We'll break that one down for you as well before this show is through. Lawrence?
Theodore, let's bring Bryan Power and Scott Rickenbach in. And Scott Rickenbach's the $2 Tuesday handicapper. We'll talk about that in a bit. But right off the bat, we got to get into some actionable info. Scott, welcome to the show. I know you're in Romania where they love to dance. It's the city of romance. Philadelphia Phillies, minus 125. Tell us why we should bet this team.
Well, right now, they've got the best record in baseball. So the Phillies have been on fire, just red hot. And when you look at a matchup like this, we talked about it the last time when we talked about with the Phillies, is that when they have a pitcher going like Nola or Wheeler, or now you have Suarez is off to an undefeated start and has huge numbers, the lines can get mispriced or not mispriced, but just overpriced. There's maybe not that value there. Now, honestly, I've been riding the Phillies quite a bit because they are so red hot and they have that hot lineup. And when you look at this matchup, though, now you have some good value. Berríos is on the mound for the Blue Jays. He's got great numbers. He's a solid long-term pitcher. He's a name pitcher, so he commands respect in the marketplace. And look at this price now you have on the hottest team in baseball. And the Phillies, they hit better than Toronto. You can look at the numbers. Their bullpen's better than Toronto. And right now they're on fire. And another thing about Berríos is that throughout his career, he's been better at home than he has on the road. And of course, he was with the Twins for years. Now he's with the Blue Jays. And some people talk about, well, depending on where the home park is, that affects that. And that's true. But there are also just some guys that they pitch better on at home compared to on the road, because you have to remember the other factor in that too is some guys like to come out and they want to start the game on the mound and they perform better in that situation. There's other guys that they actually like to start the game in the dugout and then come out on the mound and get going. And if you've played, baseball was my favorite sport growing up. I played a lot of it. And those intricacies of the game are true even at the major league level. Just some guys, it depends on the way they're made up. Just like you have guys that pitch better in the daytime versus at night and hit better, those same factors. It all depends. There's the human element in this sports betting element as well. But the key here again is we get line value with a low price on the hottest team in baseball and a stacked lineup.
So Adam Trigger was on the show yesterday, and I was giving him grief when he made a case for the San Francisco Giants against the Red Sox. He was trying to be proactive, saying, look, San Fran is on an undervalued commodity right now, and they're not going to play sub 500 baseball all season long. And I gave him grief about it. Now, today, I'm going to give you grief the other way. All right. So Philadelphia right now is, what are they, 25-11? They're playing as well as they're going to play. They're playing .694 baseball right now, which they're not going to play all season long. And when we look at the Toronto side of the equation, they're a sub 500 team right now. They're sitting in last place playing .457 baseball. When we try to project these two teams forward, let's just say 2 months from now, they're both going to be closer to 500, I think, than they are today, which means Philadelphia is going to go down and Toronto is going to go up. Do you see that? And is this just a ride the hot, fade the cold right now scenario, or is this a longer term? You think the Phillies are going to be bet on and the Blue Jays are going to be bet against?
I think there will be a little bit of regression with the Phillies, of course, because they cannot keep going like this. But I think you have to look for the right spots to fade them. I don't see it. I don't see enough value here with Toronto in this spot. They're not getting a big enough price to make them a play in my book, and I think it's a really good value spot on the Phillies. But what you're saying is true, that yes, Toronto should start to improve and get toward 500. The Phillies will regress a little bit. Here's the key with them. Look at what some of their bigger bats, like a guy like Harper. Now, Harper's finally starting to hit a little bit, but he hadn't even been hitting that good this year, and the Phillies are still winning. They're getting great pitching. Their bullpen is getting better after a bit of an ugly start. Look at that, like with the Dodgers. I think the first week of baseball this year, the Dodgers had a really bad bullpen ERA, but of course, now look where they are today. It's one of those things where it adjusts over time. So like you're saying, Teddy, we're going to see some adjustment here, but in a spot like this, I think it's like you said, ride the hot team. And you look at Toronto, they really haven't been playing that great. They've been losing quite a bit here in recent weeks. And so until that turns, I guess if this game was in Toronto, I would feel differently for sure. But on the road here, I think the Phillies are going to stay hot at home and Toronto is going to continue to fade a bit. So
Scott Rickenbach, everybody. Guys, if you've never purchased plays from WagerTalk, today is a great day. Every Tuesday, we have a $2 Tuesday handicapper, one handicapper who's kicking ass, winning for his clients on a regular basis. We sell their plays for $2. Today, it is Scott, and Scott is on a 16-6 run currently. He's won his last 5 plays in a row. And he has an NBA bet going tonight that is only $2. So please take advantage of that. Scott, do you want to tell anybody about that and some more runs that you're on right now? Because I'm looking at your hot streaks and it looks like you're doing amazing.
Hey, thanks, Prez. Yeah, it's actually the 16-6 run is on 4 stars and higher. Overall, I'm on a 13-2 run, and overall,
Well, that's way
I'm a
better.
perfect 7-0 so far with my 5-star play since I've come on WagerTalk. So the big plays have been hitting, and honestly, this is a 4-star play today that just missed being a 5-star. That big NBA play I have going today for just $2, and the NBA's hit 3 in a row. And I had the T-Wolves plus 165 on the money line in game 1. So I'm not afraid to, I'm not afraid to even play money lines in spread sports and also take that big plus money. It's something I do quite a bit in the NBA, actually. So this is a total, though, tonight that we're looking at.
Scott, I don't know where Tokyo Brandon was born and raised, nor do I know where you were born and raised. But if you close your eyes, people, they literally sound exactly the same. Teddy, speaking of Bryce Harper, one of our listeners put up in the comment section yesterday, true story.
Speaking of Bryce Harper.
Can I finish?
Yes.
He said,
we were speaking about Bryce Harper. Go on.
We
finish,
are now.
Finish. Go.
We mentioned him in the Philly analysis. Anyway, one of our listeners commented, took the time out of his day to put up in our comment section that his lifelong ambition, what he aspires to more than anything else, is to have your hair.
It's a good ambition.
I think mine is better than yours, bro. Guys, put up in the comment section when the show goes up, whose hair would you rather have? Let me take these off.
Now, Lawrence, it's definitely worth noting. What was it, about 10 years ago, I was wearing headphones like that. And you mocked me. You said, dude, that look is stupid. You look like you're from 1980. And then you put on these same headphones, you wear them every day. So,
dude, one of our listeners wrote in the chat section, chat section as well, that Prez loves to hear his own voice. And I do. And I love to hear him through these cans because it gives me more resonance and a deeper voice. These cans turn me on, bro. What can I tell you? Anyway, put up in the comment section whose hair you think is better, Teddy or mine. Do it after the show goes live. No offense, Scott. Okay. Or Scott. Put it. You can include Scott in there as well. Include Brian Power, too, with his ridiculous bangs. Scott, New York Rangers and Carolina. I was on the under the first game. It didn't hit. I really felt like it was going to go under almost every game. This series baffles me. Carolina was favored to win the series. A lot of smart people like Carolina tonight. I look at this matchup and I think, okay, who's got the better goalie? The Rangers. Who's got the better defense? Or at least single defenseman, if you will, the Rangers. Who's got like the top 3 or 4 forwards on the ice? The Rangers. And yet here we go again. Carolina is favored. People like Carolina. I don't get it, but I do like the under here. Where are you going?
Well, it's funny, Prez. We think the same way. So I'm looking at the under also in this matchup, because when you look at that first game, here's the thing. There were players out of position. The goalies didn't stand a chance. You've got some great goaltending that we're going to see in this matchup with Anderson for Carolina and Shesterkin for the Rangers. Throughout this matchup, I think we're going to see quite a few unders. And in that first game, though, Carolina ended up down 3-1 after the first period. Who could have ever thought that? I mean, it was just crazy how that played out. And if you watched it, like I said, in this game, there were just goals that the goalie didn't stand a chance. And people were out of position. Instead of guarding in the front of the net, they were off to the side chasing the puck when they needed to be on their man, and that left somebody wide open in front of the net. And these guys are too good. Like you mentioned, the Rangers have all these good forwards. Of course, they're going to make – and they played with each other for a longer period of time, which also helps with – there was just some beautiful passes where the guy didn't even have to look. He knew where his teammate was going to be, and then it's just bang, it's in the back of the net. What you're going to see, the same things I saw – of course, these guys, the professionals, when it comes to playing hockey and coaching hockey, they're going to see that and hammer it into their team coming into this next game. And I think you're going to see a much more tight, defensive-minded game in this matchup. And Carolina is so well coached. They're known for bouncing back off losses. I would look at them in this spot, but I think the best play is the under, because there's going to be a lot of focus on that from both teams after that 4-3 final in the first game, because Carolina almost came all the way back. They dominated shots on goal in that third period. Now, of course, they're chasing the game at that point. It makes sense that they would come back. But remember, the last time I was on here, we talked about the Capitals. And the Washington Capitals, they were down and they could not get the advantage in shots on goal, which showed just how much overmatched they were in that matchup. In this case, though, Carolina, they were down. They pushed hard. They took the advantage in shots on goal. The Rangers are aware of that as well, and they know, hey, we barely hung on for that game. I think both teams are going to play a very defensive-minded game here, and you're going to see a lot better. The players are going to do better about staying with their matchup instead of chasing a puck or something like this when that guy's already covered and they leave their guy uncovered, and then it's in the back of the net. So look for a tight defensive game here, 2-1, maybe 3-1, something like that with an empty netter.
Scott Rickenbach says, look at the Hurricanes, our Rangers, NHL Game 2, under 5.5 tonight, -120, -125. Looking at the WagerTalk Live odds screen, the under has taken a fair bit of betting attention so far this morning. Scott, you're the $2 Tuesday handicapper at WagerTalk.com. You're riding a 13-2 all-sports run. Your NBA's been real good, and what are you, perfect with your 5% plays since joining WagerTalk? Anything else you want to promote before we let you go?
Just don't forget about soccer, too. The soccer's been a big part of my profit, and it's a year-round sport, and there's value in it. So I just want to mention that as well. Soccer can be a moneymaker, and as I mentioned to you guys the last time I was on the show, I love money line sports, and of course soccer is one of them, but baseball and hockey, there's more than just the NBA playoffs going right now for sure. So just keep that in mind, folks.
I cheer for City, Scott. They broke my heart 2 weeks ago in the championship game. Anyway, Teddy covers. 2 guys decided that your hair is better than mine.
Thank you. 2 guys.
Yeah. Listen, I think you have spectacular hair, bro. Like, honest to God. Anyway. So we got Brian Power still to come. He's got some actionable betting information for us. Same with Dave Sharapan. But before we get into that, I watched the Tom Brady roast last night. All 3 hours of it, and I thought it was absolutely spectacular. It was, firstly, it's what the world needed, humor. Secondly, it's what the world needed, completely politically incorrect. It was rude and crude and stereotypical. It was exactly what we know when we grew up. There were about 20 Jewish jokes. One was incredible. Julian Edelman's the only guy that caught a punt and tried to return it for a refund. Beautiful joke. Stunning. As a Jew, stunning joke. Kevin Hart was amazing. I thought the blonde, Glazer, Nikki Glazer, I thought she stole the show. Ben Affleck was a train wreck. I didn't understand one single thing that he was trying to accomplish. It was horrific. But other than that, it was an epic masterpiece. I could not recommend it anymore. It was unbelievable from start to finish. So with that said, Teddy, I got up this morning and I slacked Johnny and Rick, and I said, we need to do a roast. And I'll put my hand up. I'm pretty easy to roast. I'm eccentric, weird, arrogant, narcissistic. People could have a field day roasting me. And you only roast the greats. So my hand is up. I'm ready to be roasted. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Lawrence. That was worth 2.5 minutes of airtime for sure. So I thought about talking about the Denver Nuggets, the defending champs, now down 0-2 on their home floor. They won't be the defending champs much longer in my What Bettors Learned segment for today. But the Prez stuff was just too juicy after his Bon Jovi crap yesterday. By the way, Lawrence, note what Twitter said after you were like, Bon Jovi's so cool. And I'm like, no, he isn't. John Weston, right?
I didn't say he was cool.
Quote, Teddy with the rocking chair winner here. Cameron Damscoff at C Damscoff on Twitter. Attaboy, Teddy. Let Prez know. Easy breezy at Sweet AI Moo on Twitter. Teddy dead right here, of course. And Bon Jovi did have one song. You were like, oh, he's written all these anthems. He has one song, Living on a Prayer. That's it, by the way. But it got me thinking. It got me thinking. Prez thought that Bon Jovi was cool. It's cool.
No, I did not.
Cool. Bon Jovi, the documentary is
didn't
cool.
say that.
All
Lies.
these hits.
Lies.
Then I start thinking about Prez was a break dancer in high school.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Break dancers in my junior high school and high school, I'll just put it that way, not the cool kids. I'll leave it at that. And Prez, I'm confident you and I were creatures of the suburbs, just like me in the 80s. You know, you weren't living in some urban neighborhood. You were living in the suburbs, break dancing. And what was your break dance again? That name that you used? Mr. Cool. So we have a guy in high school. Again, we're thinking back 40 years. He's break dancing with the name Mr. Cool. He's listening to Bon Jovi. Didn't you get a black belt in something, Lawrence? Was it judo or karate?
Belt in judo. Black belt.
Yeah,
judo.
so that tells me again that you were getting your ass kicked on a regular basis because you were such a complete dork. So the signs are showing pretty clearly that you were a complete dork.
So it's roast the Prez
Not
day.
much has changed, Lawrence, has it?
So for the record, I want to be roasted. Never did I say Bon Jovi was cool. Bon Jovi was a tool. That hair was ridiculous. His outfits were ridiculous. I never listened to their music. I hated their music. I said all of this. But what
you told me all the anthems that you were listing all these crappy anthems and huge hits and how great Bon Jovi was.
Stop. You've done yours talk. You've spoken.
Yeah, but
it's not for you and I to decide what is anthemic or not. I don't like Mozart. I can't stand Vivaldi. These are two musicians that have stood the test of time. I don't like Bon Jovi. But Wanted Dead or Alive, Bad Medicine, that song you mentioned, I can't remember it again, Prayer, Living on a Prayer, Always, Blaze of Glory. These are anthemic songs, whether we like them or not. And to listen to a bunch of other white old men on Twitter say, oh, you're right. Dude, You and I can't sell out Madison Square Gardens for 100 straight days. You said Bon Jovi's a
Neither
loser.
can Bon Jovi.
I said, yes, they could. I said,
No, they couldn't.
If that's
and
what
no, he couldn't.
I don't want to argue this
And
Bon Jovi shit with you anymore.
Compared
just
Bon Jovi
lie.
and Mozart. You actually, in your mind, you thought it was a reasonable comparison to compare Bon Jovi and Mozart.
Stop
Please,
talking.
Brian Power.
Dan, mute him. Mute him.
Power, get in here.
Brian out loud, mute this idiot. Hi, Brian.
Hi.
Speaking of Bon Jovi hair, welcome, Brian. Teddy. Teddy. My Mozart analogy is you and I do not get to decide who the greatest of what is. We can decide for ourselves. I think Pink Floyd's the greatest band of all time. I can't stand Bon Jovi. But we're just two dudes.
You can't stand Bon Jovi, then how on earth did you watch a 4-part documentary about Bon Jovi with all of his songs in it?
Dude, I watched a 2-hour documentary. I watched a 2-hour documentary on the Backstreet Boys, and I loved it. I thought it was an incredible, incredible documentary. I can't stand the damn Backstreet Boys, but the story is good, you idiot. Anyway. Okay. Are you done now?
I was done a long time ago. You're trying to defend yourself on something that's completely indefensible. So I've been done a long time ago.
Your love is like bad medicine. Bad medicine is what I
And nobody even knows that song. I like of the songs you're listing, that's the one that nobody even knows.
Everybody knows that song. You're the most uncool human being in the world. Brian Power, the Cleveland Cavaliers. How do we bet this game?
Oh, the gang's always getting along right before I come on the air. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. Quick thoughts on the series, guys. I like the Celtics to end it in 4 or 5 games. I think that's something even the three of us could possibly agree on. You can actually bet both of those outcomes, by the way, at plus money right now at most books like DraftKings and FanDuel. As for the prop market, Kristaps Porzingis, with him being injured, I'd look to be betting Al Horford overs, games that Porzingis missed during the regular season. Horford saw his usage and production both go up substantially. But for game 1, the specific bet I like tonight, Cavs under their team total, 98.5. You can find that at FanDuel -106. Would bet this down to 96.5, as a matter of fact, because in the first round, the Cavs averaged just 95.9 points per game. You go back to last year, the Cavs have failed to score 100 in 7 of 9 playoff games. Boston's defensive numbers, pretty comparable to Orlando, who Cleveland obviously just faced in the first round. And the Cavs are not good on the road, at least when it comes to the playoffs. 3 playoff road games against Orlando. They scored 83, 89, and 96. JB Bickerstaff, the head coach, has never won a playoff road game before in his head coaching career. And outside of Donovan Mitchell, who was admittedly incredible the last 2 games against Orlando, he had 89 points on 33 of 63 shooting. The Cavs just don't offer much at the offensive end. Really, you watch them at any time, Teddy, it appears as if there are multiple guys on the floor that are either incapable of putting the ball in the basket or simply afraid to shoot. Garland 1 for 9 going into the fourth quarter of Game 7. This team is prone to long stretches where they don't hit threes. They started Game 7 0 for 9 from behind the arc. Unless if someone like Max Strus goes off, I don't see where the points come from for Cleveland. Allen's still hurt. That's 16.5 points per game out of the lineup. Mobley has not attempted a 3 in the last 4 games. Boston, look for them to double team Mitchell a lot more than what we saw Orlando do. By the way, very curious coaching from the Magic, I thought, throughout that series. They started the fourth quarter of Game 7 with 5 bench guys on the floor. I was shocked at that. But end of the day, for tonight, your actionable info, Cleveland under its team total of 98.5. Going 1-on-5 with Mitchell, just not an ideal game plan against a team like the Celtics.
So I went back for the last 2 years, went through every box score between these two teams. Not one of the meetings. There have been 7 meetings since the start of the 2022 season, and Boston has covered this. Boston has won none of them by double digits, and Cleveland has gone under this total in none of them. So I normally say regular season is a million years, and certainly by the second round, I don't spend a lot of time worrying about what happened in the regular season. I could care less about regular season stats, et cetera, et cetera. But the Cavs have matched up really well with the Celtics. They've been able to score on Boston. They've been able to put the biscuit in the basket. I remember watching several of the regular season meetings going, this might be a decent matchup for Cleveland. And they've gone over this total again in all of them. Does any of that concern you?
Sure, but as you said, playoff basketball and regular season basketball are different animals. I watched basically every minute of the Cavs series against Orlando, and I stand by everything I said. The offense just looked inept. Bickerstaff on the road, they just don't get it done. Mitchell, I mean, their entire offensive game plan is just four guys staring at Donovan Mitchell going 100 miles an hour, hoping the ball he lays it in or gets fouled. That's it. And to be honest with you, my dad is texting me during the games. This offense stinks. I hate this. I can't watch this. But realistically, it is their only shot. I don't know how else they're going to score points. I mean, it isn't a great idea, I think, but I just think Boston is, like I said, they're going to double team Mitchell more, force the other guys to beat him. I don't know who else beats them. Miami did steal a game from Boston in round one, obviously, Teddy, but that was with a historic effort from three. I don't think Cleveland's capable of doing that. And again, you talk about the Cavs, this group in the playoffs the last 2 years, 9 games, 7 of them, they have not hit 100. Just don't see where the points come from for this Cleveland team who is up against it, I believe, in round 2.
Bryan, I love that handicap. Bryan Power, everyone. Bryan's on a huge run right now, guys, and especially in NBA. 20-8 NBA run. Congratulations, brother. You've got a current special available for the clients. Tell us about it.
Yeah, limited time. You can get both my NBA selections, rest of the year, and Mark Zinno's selections, rest of the year. Of course, Mark and I host the Morning Wager every Monday through Friday here on WagerTalk TV. And you can get both of our selections all the way through the end of the year for just $159. Prez, you touched on it, the 20-8 run that I'm on right now, hitting 70% in the NBA going back to April 1st. You want to go back even further, 83-56 run, up 67 units since last year's finals. Mark and I are a combined 10-2 the last 5 days. This is a combined special after all. I know he's got a 5% play tonight. I've got a 4% best bet. Again, this is a limited time offer available only through this Sunday. Head on over to my page, wt.buzz/BP. You can head over to Mark's page. You can click the deals tab as well on wagertalk.com to take advantage.
Excellent stuff. So, Bryan, what do you think, man? Like, I want to do a roast. I want to be roasted. Should we do one live, like in Vegas at a meet and greet? Should we do one on the show? Like, do like an hour Wager Talk Today where all of you guys can come on? And should we do it where they can roast Teddy and I?
You threw a lot of questions at me there, Prez. Yes, I think a roast would be good. I don't know how much our viewers would want. And I'll tell you what, Teddy, I just want to let you know, when you did that deadpan and said, speaking of Bryce Harper, that will be, if you have a funnier moment today, buddy, I'd love to hear it because I laughed very hard off screen when you said that. I don't think Prez caught it. But yes, I think a roast would be fun, Prez, especially of you. I think, you take it well. And there's, like you said, there's a lot of angles to attack you from, I suppose.
Well, brother, I have the thickest skin in the world. When you do what I do for as long as I've done it and have to read the social media comments, I freaking love it. Okay, Tampa Bay Rays. Where are we going in this game?
Bon Jovi is bad, by the way, Prez, just to echo.
Yeah, they're horrible.
What we were talking about before the show.
Horrible.
Before the show and you logged on, Teddy, Prez told me that Bon Jovi has more anthems than the Rolling Stones. I was absolutely in shock. But anyway, the Tampa Bay Rays, similar to Bon Jovi, were a team that many were to give up on, myself included, last week. But they swept
look
the Mets
at that
over the weekend. Yeah, that's called a transition in the business, I believe, Trez.
Segway, baby.
A segue is what it's called. Yes. Anyway, Rays swept the Mets over the weekend, so they've got life. Now they're hosting the White Sox, who I think, again, even the three of us could agree, probably the worst team in baseball. And this is a series where I am looking for ways to play the Rays, because when they faced the White Sox earlier in the season, guess what? They got swept. I don't think it's a stretch to say the White Sox sweeping the same opponent twice would be a bit shocking. And wouldn't you know, last night Rays took the series opener 8-2. And I think they're going to put up a decent number of runs again here tonight. Why? Because they're facing Mike Soroka. The White Sox starter, he's been on the mound 7 times this year. All 7 times, the White Sox opponents have scored at least 5 runs. So over 5.5 for the Tampa Bay team total seems pretty attractive to me. And even if you think, Teddy, that there's a chance Soroka pitches well, well, guess what? We have the White Sox bullpen as well, and they're pretty bad. So should be some opportunities to score in the late innings as well as early for the home team. And at home, guys, going back to April 15th, Tampa Bay's offense has scored the second most runs at home, only trailing the Phillies, who you guys talked about in the opening segment. I like Tampa to put runs on the board. Over 4.5 team total is how I would play this one.
Power. And I'm debating if I should follow with you here or we should just close it out.
Move on, Teddy. Move on. He gets on the show. He insults Bon Jovi.
Look, I listen to Radiohead and the Grateful Dead. I would alienate everybody if I started talking about
that's
my
a
music.
strange.
So I'm not going to do it.
That's a strange combination.
If I was in charge of the Rock Hall, it would be 6 stoners wandering around the building aimlessly. So there you go.
Yeah, well, you know, Teddy and I love the Grateful Dead, and we're going to see them together next Friday. As for Radiohead, I have deep respect for that band. Not my kind of music, but I recognize genius.
Yeah.
What, Teddy?
Teddy,
they have a documentary on the making. They have a
Is
documentary on the making of the album that Creep was on. Unbelievable. So good. And Radiohead are so talented, 1,000,000 times better than John Bon Jovi. Brian Power, what do you got? You've already promoted. Is there anything else?
4% best bet for tonight. Take advantage of that 2-for-1 special. And everyone, feel free to like whatever music you'd like. We're all friends here. I'll see you guys again next week, hopefully.
Exactly. Yes. Like whatever music you like. Teddy, it's time for your big game breakdown. And yes, dude, you only have to put up with me for another 15 minutes, okay? Breathe.
Hopefully we'll get in the under. Big game breakdown style. TBS tonight, the New York Yankees, the Houston Astros. Kind of a big deal. Of a series for early May. Right now, look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. Yankees minus 115, minus 20, total sitting at 8.5. Verlander versus Gill. This is the Yankees team that just swept the Tigers over the weekend. They're now 10 games over 500 for the first time this season. Their bullpen has been elite, as good a bullpen as we've seen in baseball, and their lineup is hitting right now. You know, Juan Soto in particular, red hot. We have a big back like Soto hot. It's worth paying attention to. Now, Luis Gil is not a guy who's going to attract a lot of betting market attention. That being said, he gave up 2 hits last time out against Baltimore in 6 1/3. So it's certainly not like he's in lousy current form. But you have Justin Verlander on the hill for the Astros. And Verlander always attracts betting attention. He's got a pretty good track record against the Bronx Bombers. And he certainly is a guy, he's pitched well since coming off the DL. You know, each of his last, he had 3 or 4 starts, and he's 2 runs or less in all of them. So Verlander's been pretty good. But the Astros aren't pretty good, all right? The Yankees won all 4 in Houston to open the season. You know, they won their last 7 against the Astros. And last year, they got off to a slow start, 17-17 through 34 games. This year, 12-22. All right. Sure, they've won 5 of their last 8, but found a way to lose a series. Josh Hader, who all of a sudden is struggling and dealing with issues, giving up the go-ahead home run on Sunday. Houston's not that good this year, and the markets are struggling to realize that. We talked about it early in the week, or maybe it was last week. On WagerTalk Today, saying, the Astros were down 12 units at the time. And I'm like, I don't think that you're going to make money betting on Houston. I still don't think you're going to make money betting on Houston, even after that slow start. Yankees or Pats for this better? The price is certainly right. Give me the Bronx Bombers, and there's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, I forgot at the top of the show, because you hijacked the show talking about Bon Jovi. I forgot to ask people for likes. So if you guys could take 2 seconds and hit that thumbs up button, it would be greatly appreciated. And also subscribe to our channel. We picked up 1,000 new subscribers over the last week. And look, I'm thrilled. If we could keep doing 1,000 a week, that would be wonderful. So if you've never subscribed to our channel, please do so. And lastly, before we bring the wonderful Dave Sharapan on, last night I told you guys I was on a 14-0 run in my 4% plays. Boom. Now I'm on a 15-0 run, and I have one going tonight, and it's my favorite it's one of my favorite plays in weeks, dude. My 4% play tonight is spectacular as far as I'm concerned.
Why
There's
isn't it
so
5%?
much value. There's so much value on this bet. The line is so wrong, it is ridiculous. So please take advantage of that. I'm going for 16 straight 4% winners, and I have one up for tomorrow already. It just was coincidental. So I suggest you guys buy the 7 or 11 special that we have going right now. All access 7-day pass. Instead of getting 7 days, you get 11. You can find that over at my page. Please do that. John Marcy, roast the Prez gets you 5K more people. Okay, Dave Sharapan, what do you think, bro? Should we do a roast?
I'm sitting here listening in the green room. First of all, great to see both of you. Absolutely, 100%, hands down, we do a Prez roast. I mean, I hope I can make the dais. I just want to take a shot. I think it would be legendary. We don't need to involve Theodore. Theodore does not need to get caught in the crossfire. I think Theodore deserves
Everybody
his own
gets
roast.
caught in the crossfire.
Oh, that's part of the roast. That's
Yes.
part of the roast. Everybody gets caught in the crossfire. But yes, if we're going to start with a first ever Wager Talk roast, it has to be,
Me.
Prez to be the first
Yep.
and, the original one. It absolutely, the smiles. I mean, I don't want any drama, please. But the amount of material that you have provided over the years, okay? We could golf, we could do a roast, we could do it all. I think it would be great.
Yeah, so Fritz Allen writes, and I totally agree with this. And I don't know if Joe Ranieri is listening, but he writes, if WagerTalk does a roast, Joe Ranieri will prove himself as the Jeffrey Ross of WagerTalk. Could not agree more.
I was like, yeah.
Joe has
I can't
to-
do
Joe
it.
has to be-
I'm not quick enough.
Joe
on my
has to
feet.
be the host. Joe has to be
Yeah.
the host so that he
He's the
can
perfect.
mess with everybody, because Joe would be spectacular.
Joe needs to be the host. I do the show on Sports Grid every day, or on Mondays and Thursdays with Joe. Joe and I go back and forth, and from commercial to commercial, you have no idea what he's going to say, which is the genius of the show. We go back and forth, and something will be said, heard, or done, and it will take a life of its own. So Ranieri as the host, I mean, if there's a voting pool,
Dude, we got to do this.
I'm
I'm
in.
going to speak to we got to do this. It's got to be done. Roast the Prez, August something or other. Dave
Sure.
Sharapan,
Lawrence,
you have a
it's
clip
important.
for us.
August. What did you say? I
Shut
can't
up.
believe this.
You have a
Please.
clip for us, I'm told.
I sent it to Danielson.
Send it.
I sent it to you because, listen, I don't know about all this 14-0 and all these other plays and all this 4% and all this other stuff. But last week on this show, you absolutely nailed it.
Stop.
Called
Let's
it.
roll the clip. Let's
It's
roll the
great.
clip.
It's great. There's a rap song from 1991 Digital Underground sang. It's called The Same Song. And it's really good. It's Tupac's debut. The same song. I've been thinking about it all morning because this Toronto Maple Leafs team is the same old song. It's unbelievable, Theodore. I couldn't wait to see you
But
today.
if that is the case, Dave,
Bye-bye.
that means they're going to win tonight.
Done.
That means they're winning tonight. If it's the same song, they always lose in Game 7. So
This is
same
true.
song, they win tonight. They always seem to win on the road. Same song, they win tonight.
Is that?
Who cares
Why
whether
is
I want them to lose this damn series? But we're here to give out betting information to the clients. And if
Yeah,
it is the
Boston.
same song and dance, it means they win tonight. David, where's the rest of it?
Well, I mean, we got a show to do. We had to put the clip out. Go back and watch it. Subscribe to the
Oh, the
YouTube
clip.
channel. You can go back and watch the
I
entire
literally
thing.
said they would win Game 5, win Game 6, and lose in overtime in Game 7.
Exactly what you said. Exactly what you said. Wait, did you get up and take a bow on the show?
I did.
Is that what you just did?
Yes,
Is that the first time you've ever done that?
likely.
I'm surprised he's wearing pants.
Shut up, Dan. Nobody wants to hear from you in our ears. Teddy, get some actionable info out of this man.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Dave. Let's talk amongst
Let
the
the
grown-ups.
grown-ups talk.
MLB. Let's start in baseball for today. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? I see you wearing an Oakland A's cap. A's have lost 2 in a row. That being said,
They
what
have.
won? 8 out of 10, 8 out of 9 or something.
They won every day last week except Sunday. They lost again yesterday. They got another quality pitching start yesterday. They're going to get another one today. Live dog, yes. Under for sure. That's at least what we're looking at early. You know, that's an early game. Now, Imanaga's pitching for the Cubs. Cubs lost yesterday. They had a scoreless game. Darvish and Steele, masterful starts from both of them. 3 hits through 6. Bullpen comes in. Bye-bye. Game goes over. It was a dead under until then. I think you get another Cubs and under there with that one. Boston and Atlanta is interesting. Crawford at Atlanta. Crawford's been great for Boston. That number is going to be a play on the total. Any 9s that are out are probably gone. It's going to be a play for sure under. I think Boston maybe plus a 1.5 if you don't want to go full-on dog. There is probably the way to look. I heard your breakdown with the Yankees and the Astros. I couldn't agree more. When do you get the Yankees plus money at home? It's Yankees or nothing. And then, I mean, it might be the Dodgers run time. And I know it's a gigantic price, but the Marlins are, along with Colorado, the worst team in baseball, at least in the National League. So you got to find a way to use the Dodgers, whether it's team total over, the game over, first 5 maybe, different ways like that. That's the baseball breakdown quickly because we might have an appointment. Prez, is your sty gone? That was, I was concerned about that last week.
No, I went to the doctor and I'm putting ointment on it, but it's likely not going to work. I'm going to have to get it lanced. Can you imagine how insane that will be to actually have it lanced like in my eye? Can we move on? I get the EBGBs, but thanks for asking. And I'm so appreciative that Teddy's smiling through that segment. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, I want to see like a laser burning your eyes, dude. That would please me. And I want to see smoke coming out of there, the whole thing, dude. Let's talk some NBA.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Can't say what I will. I don't know why that would amuse me, but it really would. It would make me smile to see a laser into Prez's eye and just the stuff burning off. Yeah. It's been I guess we're doing the show a little bit too long together. Drama. Let's let the drama go because we like Dave Sharapan. We enjoy our time with him. Let's talk some NBA playoffs before we get into NHL.
Sure.
What are you seeing in terms of the action around town? What are you hearing? Who's the hot team in the betting markets here in Las Vegas? Are the books worried about any liability about anyone but Boston when it comes to the championship futures? And what are you seeing in round 2 action for tonight?
Well, they were worried about Denver a little bit until yesterday, and they're not really worried about that now. Did you see the price adjustment? You can't give away Denver futures right now to win the West or to win the whole thing. Minnesota's the hottest team in basketball, and a lot of people were on them. The steam came on the Nuggets yesterday. It didn't work out so well. Tonight, you got Dallas and OKC, man. This is going to be one of those games that I think we're going to learn a lot about both teams, but I think the mystery is OKC. There's a lot of debate with some oddsmaker friends of mine about who to make favorite in this series and what will happen. Likely a split is the most likely scenario in the first 2 games. OKC to probably take game 1, Dallas to take game 2 was the kind of consensus. So you saw the number move. A lot of guys I know are on OKC early. Some books opened that pick. We're OKC -1. We got all 3.5s now pretty much in the market. Cleveland, Boston, it's just a matter of how many games is this series going to go. 5, maximum 6. I don't think it's a sweep, but I don't think it's much to talk about. Boston just has to advance as quickly as possible, low maintenance, because what's happening in the other series, Indiana, New York, that's going to be one of those ones where is the winner of that series going to be even healthy enough, deep enough to give Boston at least some competition before the NBA Finals?
Dave Sharapan joining us. Love having you on, Dave. Always one guy, Teddy, who's like, I thought this was a sports betting show. Why are you discussing other shit? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
Dave,
really?
NHL, we got 2 games going tonight. We got the Edmonton-Vancouver series starting tomorrow.
Final.
I was shocked last night. Shocked at Florida. I mean, I thought this was a well-rested team, ready to make a run, playing a Boston team that was, coming off of a grueling 7-game series. And Florida stunk it up here. I think there's a lot of value in betting Florida in the series right now. I'd like to get your thoughts. And I want to know what you think about the 2 games tonight, Dallas, Colorado, and the Rangers against Carolina.
I for sure think that there's value betting Florida. You never know when a team has too much time off against a team that just finished a high-stress, long series, Game 7, and then
So
just goes
to happen with
tonight, right? Well, no, that's exactly what I was leading into. That's a good transition, Prez. Thank you for leading me right to it. Carolina and the Rangers, right? That's the first game, but the game with the momentum thing is Colorado and Dallas. So does Dallas have momentum? Yes. Colorado has been sitting, had somewhat of an easy series against Winnipeg. Winnipeg they got hurt. Hellebuck had a bad series. They're out. Colorado advances easy. I think Dallas is the play tonight with the momentum thing, if you think that. Now, Colorado has the best player. It's the same exact scenario, right? It's the same thing.
The Canucks?
I can't even remember when the last time those 2 teams played. It's been so long. Vancouver.
The Canucks dominated Edmonton.
I know. But how much stock do you put into the regular season?
Nothing.
Some people put no stock in it, right? But Boston's undefeated against Florida.
Florida 5-0 now.
So they're 5-0 now, 4-0 in the regular season. I like Dallas in that game. I think that game's an under. It all depends on Georgiev. If he makes enough stops, that game stays low. If not, we get a little bit of a shootout. Now, the other game, Carolina and the Rangers, I'll tell you what, that's going to be a hell of a hockey game. Carolina's not going 0 for 5 on the power play again. If they do, they're in big trouble. I don't think they can go down 2-0, lose both home games for the Rangers, and go win 2 games. I think this is a long series. So the steam came on the under, boys. The steam came on the under in Game 1, and this thing got over. I'm leaning over in the hockey game, Press.
There are so many dry, boring sports betting shows. This ain't one of them. And a big part of the reason for that is Dave Sharapan joining us each and every week. Dave, you're a fantastic guest. We love having you on. At SportsBKConsig on Twitter. What would you like to promote before we let you go?
Well, obviously, every Tuesday I'm here on Flex Tuesday. There's Prez getting his arm reps in. Good job, sir. Every day, Monday through Friday, Bostonian versus the book. We're going on the road, boys. We got a live road show next Thursday in Chicago at a bar called Over Under. If you're in anywhere near Chicago, come by, say hi, hang out. We're doing the show 3 to 5 Pacific or 3 to 5 local time before the Cubs game. And we're going to hang out. It's a meet and greet, not a roast. If you want to come and give me any drama about Prez or Theodore, do that. And we'll be there. We're going to the Cubs game against the Pirates Friday. So we're going to try to do a group, like go watch a baseball game. And then Monday through Friday, Sports Grid, Sirius XM Radio, 159, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. In-game live with Ranieri, Perrault one day, Wetzel another day. Prez, you're unavailable. You're more than welcome to come on the show.
Unavailable. I'm unavailable to be asked to be on the show.
Here we go.
Guys, some quick news. This is Dave Sharapan's last Tuesday with us.
It is.
Did you know that, Teddy?
I heard a rumor. The good news.
I'm just finding this out right now.
The good news is we're going to get him on Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Dave, what is the day that you are picking?
I don't know yet.
He doesn't know yet.
It's the same time? Is it the same time?
Same time. Or we could go earlier. You can go first up, whatever you want, Dave, but I would prefer you be our last guest.
Okay. I will figure this out. Yeah.
Man. Dave, let us know.
That's it. End the show.
Art
Take it out.
Caesar will be joining us every Tuesday and Friday moving forward. Dave Sharapan on one of those other 2 days.
Okay.
Love you, man. Teddy.
See you guys.
Take us out.
That's going to wrap it for the Tuesday edition of Wager Talk Today. We will entertain you and we'll give you good information each and every day. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games, enjoy the hair, and best of luck with all your wagers.